you need to get this book. And I've had so much fun reading this. From Hollywood to Michael Dante Way, the life story and events and all the terrific anecdotes from my good friend, and it's an honor for me to say that, Michael Dante, fellow Stanfordite, 150 TV shows, over 30 movies, and just a fine contributor. An interview collection which is to beat the band, an inspiration to me doing interviews, and he's done my show a number of times too. So, Michael, how are you? How are things?
Fine, Tony, and you?
Just fine, thanks so much. And, you know, before we begin, I was doing a little bit of reading last night. I saw, sadly, that Steve Rossi had passed on. And I was wondering...
I'm sorry, I didn't get...
Steve Rossi had passed on. I believe...
Yeah, Steve Rossi and Johnny Mann, both very good friends of mine.
Oh, dear.
My radio show, when I did my radio show, have our interviews with them, and they were really two stand-up guys. They were so professional and really sincere. Played in my golf tournament for 8 years, and they were always dependable and could depend on them to entertain. And Johnny was, of course, a musical composer and songwriter, and wrote jingles that were on night and day in the greater Los Angeles area and so forth. And both were very successful, very talented, and nice, wonderful people. And I'm going to miss them both. It's getting a little much now with the loss of my dear friend Jerry Vale as well, about 3-4 weeks ago. So it's just sad to lose such great people.
Yeah, no doubt, and the fact that you had such firsthand experience with such wonderful people is, you know, to me it always touches my heart, and I look with amazement and appreciation. But your book is just, it can be read, it can be reread, you can take chapters out of order, each chapter stands on its own. It's just really fascinating. And since our last visit, I'm curious as to where the book has taken you and where you've been, and perhaps some of the stories that you might have heard from some of the readers or some of the participants.
Yeah, well, it's been wonderful. We just came back from San Diego and had a wonderful experience there at the library in conjunction with another fine writer who wrote year 1, year 2, and is in the midst of finishing year 3 of Star Trek. His name is Cushman, and he is a wonderful guy, Mark Cushman, and a wonderful writer. And we had a wonderful experience at the end of when we showed the Star Trek show that I guest starred in with Julie Newmar, entitled Friday's Child. And afterwards we had a symposium, and he and I were on stage together and worked back and forth, explaining a great deal about production and about that particular production. And it was very successful. They were so glued to everything we had to say, and we sold a good number of books. And every place we appeared, we've sold a good number of books to date. And I'll tell you that we leave for Carson City on Wednesday to participate in the Bonanza Roundup. I guest starred in the Bonanza, and 2 years ago I was invited to the Bonanza Roundup that took place in Los Angeles. This is, and they didn't have one last year, but they had one this year. They invited me back to Carson City to bring my book and autographed books, and of course the pictures and DVDs that of all the shows that and movies that I appeared in, and we're really looking forward to it. It takes place the 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. So of just the day after tomorrow, we're there, and then we'll come back, and I'm at the Hollywood show July 18th and 19th, of course, in Los Angeles, of July. And August, we're going to take a little vacation, and then September and October we'll be in Stamford, Connecticut. Now, on October 1st, I'll be appearing at, from 11 to 12 o'clock at the Darien Senior Men's Association in Darien, Connecticut, which is down the road from Stamford.
Sure.
That's on October 1st. And on October 2nd, I make another appearance, a book signing at Strawberry Hill, where the high school is located, Stamford High School, where I attended and graduated from. It's the Stamford Senior Men's Association, and that'll be from 11 to 12 on October 2nd. And that same day, should say evening, I'll be the guest of honor at the Ferguson Library at 7 o'clock, October 2nd, and the Ferguson Library, of course, in Stamford, Connecticut. And I'm not finished yet, but on Friday evening, October 3rd, I'm appearing at the wine tasting at the Italian Center, and have a private room of book signing October 3rd at 7 o'clock at the Italian Center. Then that's on Friday, October 3rd at 7 p.m. Then on Sunday, October 5th, is my Stanford High School reunion gathering. And that's at the Italian Center on Sunday, October 5th. And that, of course, they've changed that time slot, and it's will be celebrated at from 12 to 5 o'clock Sunday, October 5th at the Italian Center. That's the Stanford High reunion. And I'll be there for a book signing as well. So it's going to be a busy summer and, of course, fall. And then after that, when we get back, we leave Stanford on October 6th. And then I have, in October, I'm doing the Glendale, Arizona Western Film Festival, and be one of the guests there for a book signing. And then following that, I'll be at Apache Junction in January. So, and in between, I have some book signings here locally in the desert. So it's been very busy, and it's going to be really busy in the near future. I'm looking forward to going to my hometown and sharing the book with all the people I grew up with, and people that know me and don't know me will get to know me. So it's selling, it's doing terrific. We're on our third order already. So we've sold just this in a couple of months, well over 600-700 books. And just ordering a whole pile of several hundred for the oncoming rush. That'll be a pleasure to appear and visit my hometown.
Well, you know, it's fascinating as I'm sitting here listening to you rattle off all of the appearances you're going to be at. It's like I'm shaking my head, at least not audibly on the air, but like I couldn't help thinking, this is like when you started in your acting career and you're bouncing between all these studios, and you're kind of waiting for the phone to ring, and you're here one day and you're in the next. It's like, Michael, the more things change, the more they seem to remain the same. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we're continuing to be busy, and of course, you know, I did a film, Tony, a sci-fi comedy called Unbelievable, which will be out the latter part of this year. It's a takeoff on Star Trek, the first 3 years of Star Trek, which was done with Leonard Nimoy and Bill Shatner. And I guest starred in one of their shows, and that was very popular, Friday's Child with Julie Newmar. And what they did, they invited 8 of us, 3 actresses and 5 actors, to appear in the film Unbelievable. And it's very, very comedic. They had a lot of fun doing it, and it should do extremely well. As you know, the Trekkies are the greatest fans in the world.
It's amazing.
They're just, so loyal. They attend and support everything and anything that has to do with outer space and Star Trek and all
It's amazing.
The other wonderful programs in that genre. So it's not a big part, it's a small part. We did an ensemble piece with 8 of us, and it really lends to the comedic factor of the film, and I'm really happy that it's really looking extremely well. They're very, very pleased with the results, and they'll be finished editing it pretty soon. As a matter of fact, they called me, going to do an additional scene in July. So I have to go to Los Angeles and do another scene with the director and producer decided he added another scene with. So it's going to be very interesting, exciting, and it's great to be working. You know, and I've been busier now than in ages.
It's amazing. Now I'm curious that you've been on these signings and these appearances and things, and I can only imagine when you pack up the table and you're heading home in the car or the plane or however you got there. I'm sure you're recounting to your lovely wife, Mary Jane, wow, someone told me this story of when I was appearing in X show, X movie, and perhaps, now you've got a wonderful memory, and not to say that you wouldn't remember, but there must be 1 or 2 of these stories that like either left you laughing or amazed or shaking your head, and you may not have even remembered it, and I'm really curious if you've had a couple of those moments.
Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, and doing a Star Trek, the event that I appeared in last year was in Las Vegas. There was a gentleman that came to the table, and he was all business. He had a check ready to sign. He asking the wardrobe you wore in Star Trek. He said, "Do you have that at all?" I said, "No, I don't have it." I said, "I had the opportunity to purchase it a long time ago after I finished the show for personal memorabilia." And he said, "Look, if you can get it, the original," he said, "I'll give you $25,000 for that outfit." I said, "My God, you really are a collector." "Yeah," he said, "I am. I've collected X, Y, and Z, and so forth." And that was one of the outstanding, colorful outfits that I liked very much. He said, and he said, "Here's my card. And just call me if you could track it down somewhere," and so forth. But of course, I never was able to
locate it,
pursue it and track it down. God knows that's so many years ago who knows where it might be. It might be in the hands of some other collector, or it might be buried in some warehouse of the wardrobe from the Star Trek series. But that was really an eye opener. I mean, the Trekkie fans are so loyal and so well mannered. Matter of fact, I'm doing one of the first ones I ever did at the Pasadena Convention Center in Los Angeles. We were stacked behind Bill Shatner and Leonard Nimoy's tables, and the line from their table and our table, which was a little bit further, maybe 20 yards behind. The line was outside, all the way out to the street. And when they got to our table, after they've gotten the autographs from Shatner and Leonard Nimoy, I asked, I said, gee whiz, how long have you been in line? He said, oh, about 3 hours. I said, well, are you tired, disappointed, angry, or anything? Oh, no. He said, I've met some wonderful people that I haven't met before, because I've been to these events for several years. And I said, well, do you come to the venues whereby you have a relative in that area or close by, and then make it a trip? Because you tell me you're from England or from Germany, another one from Italy, and they come from all over the world. I said, oh no, we save up all year to be at this event.
It's amazing.
So, give you an idea about the Trekkies. They're so polite, and never once did I see any of them or hear any of them with any sense of anger for having to wait in line and wait their turn to get a picture and an autograph.
Well, you know, it's interesting, Michael, because, truth be told, I never followed Star Trek, when it was on, and people think the age that I am. Of course, everybody followed Star Trek. Well, I must be one of five in the United States that didn't. But yet, when I point to your picture in that costume and I show someone, do you see that man? I know him. He is a friend of mine. They'll fall off the chair. They're like, you know him? Can I get his picture? Can I? It has such an impact that, to me is, well, it's great, but it's amazing.
Well, it amazes me that it's still alive and well today. The money for the merchandising, all of these years, it's well over 35 years now. I think it's about 38 years.
Sure.
That they've been gathering the Star Trek conventions, and the Trekkies attending these events, just in the billions of dollars. The merchandising, you could get anything from pencils to duplicate copies of your favorite actor in a particular segment. Anything you could think of that you might use in your household or any collection you may desire, they have it, and with the Star Trek name on it, and so forth and so on. So it's been so rewarding for a lot of the actors that didn't make a lot of money, very much money in the early days of television. Doing a television series. It's not like today. The prices are, really outlandish, the salaries. But then it was, not that rewarding. And then in this case, it was only on 3 years. Today, if you do a series a year or two, you've got enough money for a lifetime.
It's amazing.
But at that time, those salaries were not that high by any means. So the actors, including Leonard Nimoy and Bill Shatner and the rest of the ensemble cast, have made much more money appearing at these venues and these conventions over the years than they ever dreamed of, and of course much more than the salaries they received doing the shows during the 3 years the show was on the air. It seemed like the show was on forever, but it was only on the 3 years.
The 3 years, and was taken off, and nobody really seemed to know why. You know, it's really a...
Yeah, well, it got really, Mr. Roddenberry thought that it was, could not compete with the Westerns that were on. All the popular Westerns were on against the show, and thought he'd go on and take it to in another direction. Little did he know, just after it went off, the demand for it to come back on was greater than the demand that when it was on the air. So it was something that was really catchy. It was so innovative. And as he said to me when we were talking, and he appreciated what I did on the show, and then he said, "I was sorry that you got zapped." He said, "Because I would have liked to continue your character. You did such a good job, and I appreciate it very much." And he said, "I said, what we're doing, Michael, is just a Western in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Good guy, bad guy. Yeah, you knew the protagonist and the antagonist." And that's what we're doing, and that's why it was so popular. And we had our own family, which was the basic premise of all the Westerns, for the most part. The Bonanza and High Chaparral. It was a family. Ideals and justice and law and order. And
those good things we like to follow, yeah.
Versus evil, and it was the same thing, except they were in the sky.
Well, yeah, and that's really the thing, which me personally, I miss in entertainment today. But believe it or not, Michael, our time, as usual, tends to get away from us. And one question I'd like to ask you before I let you go, you write a book which takes you from Stanford, well, literally from Stanford back to Stanford, to Michael Dante Way and then beyond. God bless you, the life you've had, the works you've done, the people you've worked with, being a friend to many, myself humbly included. Do you ever, sit in a chair or sit in bed or drive down the road or whatever thinking, if I had gotten this part here, maybe not from the sense of jealousy, but from the sense of where your entire life, and I'm talking now as an actor, would have been entirely different, rather than all of these rich characters you have played, that perhaps you would have been, when we thought of Michael Dante, the actor, we would have thought of him as something entirely differently than what you have been and still are. One bump in the road, one meeting that didn't happen that would have taken your career in another direction, perhaps better, perhaps not?
On several occasions, I didn't get various big opportunity roles because I was taller than the star of the picture. They didn't want anybody taller. Steve McQueen shot me down with that. Kirk Douglas, same thing, because I was too good looking and strong and handsome and taller than they were and so forth. That happened to me several times with wonderful opportunities to advance to another level. But that's the nature of the business. The egos, the egos in the business are gigantic, and they had the power to have in their contract what they can do, what they can't do. So it was very disappointing. But I never looked back. I said, okay, that's the way it is, and I've got to work harder, and I've got to go and do what I have to do and keep doing it well, and everything turned out great. I couldn't be happier. I had a great career, great life, a beautiful life, a good, clean life. I'm still alive and well, thank heaven. and still going strong. But they pay the piper. I'm still here and healthy and doing well. And like my dad said many years ago, he said, for everyone that wants you to succeed, you're in a very competitive profession. Two professions that were very competitive, baseball and the show business.
Mm-hmm.
And for everyone that wants you to succeed, there are 10 people that don't. So you've got a lot of competition and jealousy and so forth. And that's the name of the game. That goes along with that kind of competition. So I didn't let it destroy me or get me down. I just knew that, okay, that's the way it is, and that's the name of the game, and I have to work harder and keep on going and do fine work and complete what I set out to do, to be a very diverse actor with a lot of ability to go into character, a leading man who can do character work, and a variety of things that I did, that I trained myself for and I accomplished. So that's the success, highly successful, doing the things I wanted to do. It's all in the book, and the fans out there, just go to my website. You can see. It's a very simple, michaeldanteway.com. It's a great website. It's an award-winning website. I had a webmaster that did a terrific job.
It really is a neat site.
It's all on the website.
Well,
they can purchase a book. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll autograph it too, which I think is really sweet, and if there's instructions to do that as well.
Right. Yeah.
And the book, to my fans, From Hollywood to Michael Dante Way, published by Bear Manor Media. The functional star of the book and the show of so many pieces through the years, and ultimately my friend Michael Dante, and you have to get it, you have to read it. It's just a compendium of just a remarkable life. And Michael, I'm going to get out to see you when you come east, and best to Mary Jane. You guys stay well, keep doing as you're doing. God bless you both, and we'll talk soon, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
And that was Michael Dante, and we'll be right back very, very soon with our closing announcements and plans for our next show. So it's Tony D'Angelo here in Connecticut Morning, and wow, we've had taken a toll from the heels on this one, but it's always fun here. And thanks so much for being with us, and we'll be right back straight ahead, right back after this.